Laura. Late afternoon. Thank you. It is 4:30 and I'd like to start right on time because I'm guessing on a Friday afternoon, late afternoon, you all have places you would like to be at for the weekend. So thank you for being here. If you have not yet signed in, I would ask that you do so. There are sign-up sheets in the back and so please feel free to help yourself and get signed in. I would like to recognize the public officials that we have in the room. Julie Osmus is I should introduce myself. I'm sorry, I'm Kathy Schwantes. I'm the chair for the City Hall Task Force, and vice chair would be Councilmember Julie Osmus. We also have Councilmember Sean Meskey on the task force, and Councilmember Fernando Alvarado will be joining us as soon as he's able to. So he'll be slipping in at some time, and I believe I also saw Councilmember Rick Fagerly here. Is there anyone else that I'm missing? Oh yes, Vicki, thank you. I'm so sorry, Councilmember Vicki Davis is here helping us out tonight too. So welcome, we're looking forward to being able to share some good information with you. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to go over the three sites that were identified, three site concepts that were identified by the City Hall Task Force. That would have been over a week ago, I guess. And those three sites, two are related to where the current City Hall building is. One is to renovate that building. The second is to take the building down and reconstruct a new building on that same site. And the third that we're looking at is Block 25, and that, of course, would be a new building there. So those are the three concepts we'll be talking about tonight. And last time, if you remember, if you were here for that meeting, when we were done with the presentation, we invited folks to come up front, take a look at the display boards, have conversation with the council members, and we'll have a number of council members up front that you can chat with. And then we're also going to ask to capture your thoughts. So that's what the 3x3 stickies are right here. If you would put those thoughts up on the board and we'll go through that. But that was a very effective way for us to be able to capture information last time, and so we'd like to replicate that again. So without further ado, we're going to be splitting the presentation by Councilmember Meskey, Osmus, and myself. And with that, I'll welcome you to the table, Sean.
First of all, thanks for coming out tonight. I know it was a quick turnover from having a meeting on Monday to Friday, and I do know that there's other things going on. I, for instance, have a child who is at prom, which will be going on here shortly, so we're going to try to get going as fast as we can. I was asked by our chair to talk about the renovation of the current City Hall, and I do so very happily. The benefits of that project, we went through a lot of different analysis. If this isn't your first meeting, you've heard them before, but there are no acquisition costs for the existing City Hall. There is no impact to our city tax rolls. All right. Yep, no impact to the city tax roll. T1 line, that is our technology line. That's obviously already on site. There would be no cost for that. You'll hear about those costs later. It is a downtown location, and there is a possible connection with the existing site to the auditorium with its proximity. Limitations to this project, there will be relocation costs if we renovate the existing site for our employees. There's different options for that, but we got a price tag of about $50,000 for that relocation. That relocation could be up to 12 to 15 months even. We hope that it would not be that long as we would renovate that property. The disruption, of course, is a limitation, and it would be confusing as we relocate. They may not all be in the same location, so there would be some confusion for a while as you figured out which department you were looking for, where they would be relocated. Some of the other limitations is the current footprint of the facility is inefficient, and there's not a lot of room for expansion. We did look at the possibility of expansion towards the city auditorium, but those costs would not be included in the figures that I'm talking about this evening. Additionally, anybody who's renovated old buildings know that you can get some surprises around every door. We don't know what that may entail when we want that footprint to be there, so again, the cost may go slightly up if you got some surprises on that. There is no current city council chambers in that facility. It was the desire that those would be included in that site, and those are included in that cost as well. It is a lower visibility site with the expansion and growth of the city around that. It's not a central corridor any longer. There's less convenient traffic flow because of that, and currently the parking is limited, and most people park across at the church parking lot. Now with that option, just so you are aware that this option sort of opened the whole box of talking about a new city hall. We had a study done in 2016 by CRBBS Engineering that identified a few indices for us to kind of put all of our city buildings and give them a sort of a grade, if you will. And there was something called the Facility Condition Index, which is 1 to 5 year deficiencies over the current replacement value. They at the time, 2016, the replacement value of the city hall existing was $3.2 million. They also did another indice called the RI, or Requirement Index, of what we would like the building to do. And of course, because of the layout and the lack of chambers and a lot of other deficiencies, which would include things, a lot of non-compliance issues and things like that, that gives you another indice. How it works on this piece here, let's see here. The black one is the Facility Condition Index, and the RI is the Requirement Index. And for the City Hall, that's one that had a 0.95 RI, which means basically to replace it would be 95% of the full cost of building one. When we saw that, that was very clear that we have a problem with a building that has probably not been maintained as well as it should have been. But that is the circumstance that we have currently. You'll see also the replacement value is in green, and about $3.2 million to replace it at that particular point, but that was 2016. 2018, that estimate was $3.6 million. That's taking into consideration construction cost, inflation pieces. We were losing numbers between 11 and 8%. That puts us in 2020 of a replacement value somewhere around $4 million to replace the existing city hall. Furthermore, the indices we had, once they said it's over 0.6, probably don't need that. After it gets over 0.6, then it says that that is where your optimal replacement would be, is at 0.6 as an indice. When we're sitting at 0.95, then you start seeing diminishing returns for your dollar, and that is the situation that we're currently sitting in. A map. I have the easiest map tonight. If you don't know where the city hall is, you can go visit anytime. But that is our current city hall site. I believe that is what I was going to talk about, and I believe I'll turn this over to Councilor Alvarado.
Thank you, John. Good evening. My portion of this is the demolition of the current city hall and construct a new city hall. And it's outlined up there. We believe the benefits are there's no acquisition cost, no impact to the city tax roll. I'm not T1 line is on site. It's a downtown location, which is important to us, and there's a possible connection to the auditorium. Limitations. Relocating during the renovation, we believe the relocation cost would be $50,000 and lead to inefficiencies. It would be confusing to the residents because they would be spread out, and we'd have to try to educate them as to where they are to get their services. Demolition cost, $120,000 to $220,000. There's limited space for expansion with that footprint. Low visibility. Less convenient traffic flow, and limited parking for staff. Currently, they park across the street in the parking lot, and we see that it'll probably be an increase in services, so we'll probably need more staff parking. That's kind of where we're at there. Thank you.
So you can see that the comparisons, the strengths and limitations, whether we're demolishing and rebuilding or remodeling, are really very similar for the City Hall site. So if we can talk about Block 25, and you can advance that for me already, thank you. The benefits here is that the city already owns half of the block, and I will bring it back to here. Right now, the city owns this much of the block, so about half of the block is currently city parking. This parcel, or it's actually 3 parcels in one, but would be the part that is owned by the Nelson property, and then this would be Lodash property, okay? So we would be looking at acquiring the Nelson portion and adding that to the half that we already own, but owning half the block is certainly a benefit for us. It is a larger construction site for us. The footprint is a good size, so we really would be able to build whatever shape or design footprint we're looking for. Again, you're probably aware, we're estimating it's about a 20,000 square foot building. We believe we will be doing 2 stories, so about a 10,000 square foot footprint, but it would fit very nicely on there and leave us some good room for additional parking and some green space. So we would have the ability to add the chamber councils to the building. One of the things we've talked about and has been a real focus for us for this task force is downtown, and I know that there have been conversations about other locations that we are not addressing tonight, but in last year's public meetings, we vetted a number of sites, and the public was very clear in that they wanted the City Hall to be located downtown. Thank you. Thank you.
Are we good? We're good. All right. So it is a downtown location, and at that, it creates a really nice gateway into the city. Coming back to this map, we've got Highway 12 running here. We've got the stoplight, so it really is a nice access to be able to come in to Block 25. So it would create a gateway into downtown. It's convenient and accessible traffic flow again with that Highway 12. Ample parking, again an opportunity for green space. No displacement of the employees during that construction phase. Obviously they would remain in City Hall until the construction was done. We would make the move and it would be a much more smooth transition for the public to be able to find where their source of services are at. And then I can add to this week, we've just received a letter from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. I know that was a concern at Monday night's meeting, the environmental issues in regard to that property, and that has been approved as the site has been declared clean, so that's a positive. The limitations for this, and we are getting each of these items from the priorities that we set as a task force early on. And one of the priorities was acquisition cost. And the initial price that we are looking at is $100,000. And again, I would say that we feel that many of us on the task force feel that this is a very reasonable purchase price. There were some other acquisition costs that we were looking at up at $1 million and over $1 million. And Dirk is here, and I know you're shaking your head because he wants to say, well, Hardware Hank was only $400,000. So I want to put a shout out for you there, Dirk and all. So, but really that $100,000 makes it look like a pretty attractive purchase price. The current property taxes was another item we were looking at, because if we're taking a property off of the tax rolls, that's lost revenue. And again, this is a pretty reasonable cost when you look at some of the other sites that we had a $20,000 property tax income, and the current tax revenue is $2,178 for that site. There is no T1 line on here, and so we would need to have that installed, and we don't have an estimate on that cost at this time. And obviously, because of the location, not right next to the city auditorium, and we wouldn't be making that connection. So again, we're using that estimate of $200 a square foot for new construction, 20,000 square feet, so estimating that at $4 million. I'll be honest that I hesitate to put that out there, but I know our task force members are saying the people are asking. That is our best estimate, but know that that's a range, a place, a target, but until we actually have that design work done, just as any of the other sites that we're talking about, we really don't have a hard figure for that until we're there. But we know we're not building a $6 million nor an $8 million facility. That's just not in our plan, so, okay? All right. We ran through those pretty quickly. So now we would like to again, offer you that opportunity, since we've run through those benefits and the limitations of each of the sites, and again, we did it fairly quickly. We've got each of those same slides up here to be seen along with the map, and we'd invite you to come forward and have that personal conversation with each of the, and I call the council members to please come forward if you would please to help us out with that. And then again, it was very effective in our capturing your thoughts and your feedback at the last public meeting. So we do have the 3x3 stickies. And again, we'd like you to comment on each of the sites. And you're welcome to put in what you like, what your concerns are. And we will again tally all of those comments and have them available for the task force and for the city council. So if you would, again, I'd ask the council members to please come forward. We'll raise the screen and please come and join us. Thank you.